Alright, hello everyone. It's been, I kid you not, 1 year since I uploaded the last 3 Easy Extremes video, and I'm gonna be completely honest, I haven't really done a lot in the game in the past year and a half. But if you're familiar with the series, I go through 3 low-end extreme demons and show you guys how to beat them, but recently I changed up the format a bit so that only more niche and lesser known levels are gonna be in this series. In this video, we'll be covering 3 of those lesser known extreme demons, one of them being awkward and learny, the next being slow but with difficult timings, and the last one's gonna be learny and unique. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, and the first level of today is Voided by Just X Seuss. Like I said in the intro, this is the level that is awkward and learny, and you'll see why, but I'm gonna go through it and give you guys any tips and tricks I have. Okay, now the beginning of Voided isn't too hard to read. There shouldn't really be any timings that are too hard for anyone. This beginning will get very consistent for most, if not all players, so just get prepared to be going to the drop a lot and probably getting mad. And the ship section right here too, it's not too difficult at all. So after these relatively easy timings right here, this ship right here, it can just be done in 1 click. Don't worry about overextending. But yeah, this is the little build-up part, and as you can see, once more, it's pretty easy. But after all that, you get to the drop right here, and the first thing I'm gonna say is that you can actually skip this pink orb right here, but if you just hit this blue orb a bit later, you can skip it and just hit the yellow orb like this. This UFO's click pattern is a bit awkward, but you want to just click into the gravity portal like I am right here, and then just do like another click a little bit after that. Now, as soon as you enter this UFO portal, just click. You can do it super early, as you can see. That's because if you hit this too late, you'll hit the saw blade. There is a way to fix it if you just click twice really fast, but that becomes very inconsistent, so try not to do that. Unfortunately, there's not much for me to say about the beginning half of this level because it's all mostly linear, and it's pretty easy, so most people can just figure this out on their own. Now, this UFO right here, just click twice each gravity change you do. So twice up here, twice down there. That's the easiest way to get around to that part. These 2 dash orbs right here are awkward, but just get used to them. You'll find the timing really easy once you do. After this blue orb, it's usually safe to just buffer the click right after. So you kind of want to do 2 really fast clicks, because if you go a bit late, you'll die to the spike up here. So just make sure you're usually buffering this click. Now, the consistent click pattern for this little ship part right here is to click once as soon as you enter the ship, and then just hit the orbs like that. You don't have to really do any more clicks than this. The dash orb right here is marked for you, so keep that in mind. I kind of didn't know that, so I was kind of blind clicking right here, which led me to die like this once. But yeah, this is a dash orb. It's kind of a buffer. And then this is a very tough ship control part. Get used to this as much as you can, or else you'll die here a lot. And then here's where the main learning factor of the level comes in. It's this little duel right here. The click pattern you want to go with is to hit this black orb and then hit the green orb like that. What I do is I click once in the ship portal and then click again on the red orbs. And then I just focus on the bottom where the ship is upside down right here. Because when I enter this gravity portal, I like to do a big click like this, and then just follow the jump indicators from that point. On the final jump of the ball right here, you become a wave. So this is where you just start focusing on the wave, because if you don't focus on the wave, you'll have a very, very hard time with this. And you want to make sure your wave actually hits this gravity portal right here. That's the reason it's there. And then don't let anything else confuse you. The proper click pattern for this part, where you go like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Make sure you're hitting this little red orb here, like very well, or else you'll end up misaligning yourself. And this UFO click right here is actually 2 clicks. You want to do 2 clicks like that. But yeah, this UFO just has a few awkward timings to get used to, but other than that, they're not that bad. And unfortunately, this ball is also really awkward, but once you pass this ball, you get onto the easier part of the level, which is this part. I would recommend practicing this part a lot because it's easy to a point where you'll feel overconfident when you get here, which will really screw you up if you die, and you'll become super demotivated. So practice this part a lot. This wave right here is also really awkward, I'm gonna point out. You have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that, and it's kind of a choke point, not really. This robot section can kill you if you're not careful. Make sure you're doing the lightest clicks you possibly can here, not super light, or else you actually won't make the jumps. But as long as you're doing super light clicks, you won't die to any weird death. And then this wave right here, just make sure you're holding into the cube portal, because the orb will activate by itself. Anyways, you get onto this final section, which has a jump into like an invisible ship. You can get away with doing the ship in 2 clicks, kind of like what I was doing right here. but that's a lot riskier. So just do it in 3 or 4 clicks. That way you don't overclick and end up going like up like that. And be careful, there is a final click here. I actually didn't know about this until the completion. It's not a difficult timing, but it can really catch you off guard because of how slow you're going. Anyways, yeah, that was Voided. In terms of enjoyment, I gave Voided a 7 out of 10. That's a pretty good score. That's mostly because it wasn't too hard to play, so I beat it really quickly. I honestly did it in more attempts in this practice run than like actually getting a like 40 to 100. But yeah, the level's pretty good. Some of the gameplay is awkward, but once you get past that, it becomes really consistent. And the decoration, I gave a 6 out of 10. I tend to like darker decoration styles, but this one just felt a bit mid to me. There's not much wrong with it, but it's just not my cup of tea, honestly. Anyways, with my luck rating of 7.5 out of 10 and my song rating of 6 out of 10, my average rating for the entire level came out to about 6.6 out of 10. If I were to recommend this level to anybody, it's just to people who are like trying to grind easy extremes. It's pretty easy if you're used to beating easy extremes. But if you're not, then this level is going to be annoying, and I just wouldn't recommend it to you if you're going to find this level annoying. Anyways, yeah, that's all I have to say for now. Go. I flipped Voided. Let's go. That was literally my whole reaction. So while the background plays so I can prove I'm legit, I'm gonna give you my Liquid IV Spider-Man Brand New Day flavored review. I don't know what flavor it is, but I already poured it into my bottle. Alright, it tasted pretty mid, but it does feel a lot more refreshing than most drinks, so it's pretty alright. Anyways, on to the level! Alright, and our next level is Through the Decay by Spark 2. Now, in the intro, I talked about this level, and I said it was slow with hard timings. The term hard timings is used very loosely here because it's an easy extreme, so how hard can the timings really get? But you kind of get the idea. The level's kind of structured like Acropolis, where the whole level's slow, and most of the difficulty comes in timing. It's not all in negative speed like Acropolis, but it's still like rather slow. Anyways, let's get into it. Alright, so the first jump automatically is pretty difficult. There's no real indicator for how to accomplish this jump. You can do this if you wanted, but that's very hard. So just jump in the middle of the 2 spikes like that. You want to land on the right corner of this block right here and then jump off of it. You kind of have a bit of help there if you check at the hitboxes. Now right here, this red orb, you can land on the corner of this block right here. It's very hard to do that, but you could like that. But it's more recommended to just hit this red orb late and just go like that. And then once more, this jump right here, you just jump between the 2 spikes. Now right here, you want to land on the corner of the second step of the staircase right here. That way you can land on the 4th corner. And then on this timing right here, you want to land on the right corner. But once you land on this corner, you want to jump onto this block right here. That way you can time this upcoming red orb, which I would recommend just hitting the ground and then waiting for the timing. Alright, anyways, after this one-time speed portal, this is what I would consider the quote-unquote drop. So 19% is where the drop's at, which is pretty good for a slow level. So this first black orb is a timing, but the second one's usually a buffer. I don't know if it's the same or not without CBF, but with CBF, it seems to be a buffer. But most of the timings here are relatively straightforward. You actually want to bump your head on this block right here as you're seeing, but besides that, the rest of these timings are very straightforward, but still pretty difficult. You have a lot more leniency with this yellow orb than you think you do, so just keep that in mind. Right here is the first like gameplay change. This is the robot part. So this first jump for the robot, you want to land on the corner of this block. It's pretty outlined right there, as you can see, but that's just so you can land down here properly. And then once more, you just land on this corner and it's once again outlined. After this blue orb, you kind of want to do like a small click, not a micro click, but just a small click. That way you can actually do this timing right here. And then you want to jump over this structure right here. You don't want to land on any corners. There's two ways to do this little staircase right here. You can either land on the corner of the second step and then just do like, you can't do a full jump here, so keep that in mind. But if you just do like a 80% power jump, you can make it to the dash orb. Or you can jump on the second step and then do another small click like this and then just jump off the last step. But that's a lot more unreliable, and the second click is a very small micro click, so it might be inconsistent as well. And don't be fooled right here, you do not have to land down here. You can just dash orb to this structure right here. And then right here, you land on the right corner of this structure right here, then you jump up and then just do like a click like that. You want to jump over this structure instead of landing on it, just so you can go to the ship section like that. And then entering the ship, you want to be holding as the robot. That way you actually can get this timing down. And then the ship section is relatively straightforward, thankfully. Don't mess up this triple spike click right here. I actually did quite a bit from 0, and it's pretty annoying. And then the black orb's a very early timing. I wouldn't say it's a buffer, but it's a super early timing. And then after that timing, it's just holding as the ship for a bit. And then once again, the ship section is relatively straightforward. This spider section is actually very difficult. I don't know if it's just because I'm bad at spider. So the first weird thing about the spider part is this little portal right here. You might be confused on what to do. Like as soon as you're falling as the spider, just buffer the blue orb and it'll give you just enough momentum to go past these spikes on the bottom. And then past that, it's just knowing your timings. And then this corner click right here is also very difficult, so keep that in mind. But yeah, all of these spider inputs are pretty difficult, but it's all about you learning them. This part, I don't know if it's confusing to anyone, but you just go past these saw blades like this. I would recommend just timing it where you kind of want to scrape along the hitbox of the top right saw blade, so just align your click with that, I guess. So what you want to do here is hit this red orb and then hit the black orb like super late. Like as late as possible. And then from here, the timings are relatively straightforward. You have a lot more leniency on this like in-between click than other clicks, which is nice. This black orb right here is fake. I don't even know why it's here, but you kind of want to land on the right corner of the block right there. And then this red orb is also a fake, so do not get tricked by that. And then the last jump is right here. The jump's actually nicely indicated by this fireplace. You do not want to jump on the fireplace or else you will die, but you want to jump as soon as your cube touches the fireplace, kind of like that. Anyways, yeah, that was Through the Decay. Alright, in terms of enjoyment, I gave Through the Decay a 4 out of 10. I just did not enjoy this level too much. It wasn't terrible to play, but it just also wasn't really fun. Normally, I'd call a level not fun just because, you know, it's slow, so it's not going to be as entertaining as like a fast level, at least to me. But this level actually just had a lot of crap in it, honestly. It wasn't the best experience to play, but I'm not calling it absolute dog shit. It was a fine level, but it just had a lot more problems than, like, you know, good parts. And it did just feel like a lot of the deaths in this level were inconsistent. That's not really good for a timing-based level. You want a timing-based level to be very consistent to the player, and this just did not feel like that. In terms of decoration, I gave the level a 3 out of 10, because let's be honest, the decoration isn't really too amazing. It looks fine, I guess, but this is like one of those levels where I think a lot of levels should be rated, and I'm surprised this level is a more recent rate. It also felt weird to see like colored flowers with the black and gray monotony of this level. That might just be a personal like problem, I guess. Anyways, with my luck rating of 4 out of 10 and my song rating of 6 out of 10, I gave Through the Decay a total of 4.3 out of 10. This level I feel like could be a lot better. I don't know the context revolving this level. Maybe it's the creator's first level, or maybe it's just an artsy project. I don't know. I'm not gonna give the level too much flack because it's not by like a huge creator. Anyways, if I were to recommend it to anyone, it's to anybody who likes simpler levels or just timing based levels. That's pretty much all I would recommend it to. Anyways, yeah, that's all I have to say for now. Oh, I almost fucking fucked it up. Holy shit. Wow. Alright, and finally we have Ion by Schmiggles. This is the level in the beginning where I said it was learny and unique, and as we go through it, you'll see what I mean by unique. Anyways, let's waste no time. This level requires a little bit of memory, not too much, and every click at this mini speed portal can be buffered, so just keep that in mind. Like literally every single one. And then the ship section, once more, pretty linear. The beginning of the level is very straightforward, so you shouldn't have too much problems with this. Entering this teleport portal, you don't have to really click at all. If you want, you can click once upon entering the teleport portal, but I would recommend just holding into the teleport portal for a bit and then releasing. And then once you hit the second teleport portal, that's when you actually click to go up like this. You want to absolutely make sure that you hit this size portal up here, but there are spikes on the very top if you see that, so make sure you don't go too high up. Same thing with this as before. Whatever click pattern's better for you for this teleport portal, just use that. This ball part is also very straightforward, but don't let this gravity portal right here confuse you. You just have to reverse gravity once as the ball on this cube right here, and then you can just continue on as such. So for this green orb right here, you kind of want to align your red orb click right here a little bit. So this red orb that's inside the blue gravity portal, just click it a bit later than you would, just to align yourself properly for the green orb. This small 3-click section right here is pretty confusing, but just click on the orbs and you'll be fine. This ball click right here is very, very difficult, so make sure you just get used to it. All right, so right here, this transition's a bit awkward, but it's not terrible. But as you see on the bottom, there's a coin, and to get that coin, you kind of just want to click this blue and yellow orb just later. This coin is very inconsistent, but it's pretty fun to go for, honestly. If you do go for the coin though, make sure you land on the structure like this, the way I'm doing it right here, where you're sliding along the bottom, and then just go up into the green size portal like that. And then every green orb here is an orb that you hit. There's a corrective block inside this teleport portal, so you don't really have to worry about the alignment. This straight fly right here, you can honestly just go straight and you'll be fine. But if you feel more confident going a curve down like that, then you can do that as well. And then in the middle of this little structure right here, you have to click that toggle orb or else you die, so keep that in mind. And then this corridor right here, what I recommend is clicking once on the mini portal, just going up into the blue portal like this. And then the blue portal will adjust you to this little straight fly right here, so you won't have to really click at all. But once you're swooping down, you want to click just to go upwards into this yellow portal, and then just click again on the yellow portal to make yourself go like this. Now, this duel might be very confusing. First of all, you want to enter this properly, so you just want to hit the yellow orb that's in the dual portal. You can honestly release it like right away and you'll be fine. You want to just focus on the top ship here. And then once you're like about to hit the ceiling, just let go. And then in between these two spikes is when you click again to just stay straight up, I guess. But you want to release to, you know, go downwards so that you actually treat it like kind of like a ball section. And then when you're under this final spike is when you just click again to go into the UFO. This UFO section is a bit weird, but what you want to do is just click on the UFO portal and then click on the yellow portal and then click these two orbs right here. Then you just click on the gravity portals from there and then hit this second red orb and then hit the blue gravity portals and then hit the green orb. And then you want to hit both of these portals back to back like this into this yellow orb. But keep in mind with this green orb, you kind of want to time this yellow orb right here a bit earlier. That way you can actually hit the green orb, because sometimes you might miss the green orb. So once you hit this green orb, you just do 1, 1, 2. Or if you really want to, you can do 1, 1 like that, but that's a lot riskier. But it does align you a bit better for this timing right here. And then once you make this timing, hit the green orb, then go up into the ceiling, go down as the UFO right here. And then it should just be pretty straightforward from here. And then you have another like small straight fly-ish section. This part isn't too hard. This level's pretty learny and very kind of ship-centric, so get used to that. And then right here, you kind of want to hit this yellow orb as early as you can, and then just hold your input button, and that will work. Make sure you release right before this wave, though. So the wave click pattern you want to do for this part is just do a click right here when you're going down, and just hold up for a bit, so that the cube can actually jump, and then click again like right here, because there is a lot of room for leniency right here for this like structure. If you feel more comfortable doing like a 2-click, you can, but doing this whole like wave and cube first part in 2 clicks is more consistent than anything. Now when you're sliding on this, focus really hard on the cube, because you want to jump off the corner of the block. That way you can make the cube go right where it's going. This timing is actually very difficult, but remember, you have a lot more wiggle room to play with outside of that structure. But you kind of want to make your wave go down here like this, and then just do an extra adjustment click like I'm doing right here, just so that you can actually get lined up in the structure, and then just follow the wave alongside the structure. And then at the end here, you just want to go up as the wave like this. And then once you release right here, just do like an adjustment click when you're by the saw blade, like when you line up with that light beam, just so that the mini cube down there can jump. And then there's two ways to go about aligning yourself here. You could either do what I'm doing right here and go up after clicking once here, and then go like that. I feel like that's very consistent. So just basically follow the wave in this pattern that I'm doing right here, and it should usually work. But if you really wanted to, you could do something like this, but that's a lot more inconsistent. But yeah, the waves eventually connect, and you just get to do a normal wave part. And then this part is kind of an interlude until the ending. You just gotta memorize the click pattern. So you wanna jump onto this elevated blue pad right here, and then skip all these orbs, then hit this blue orb, then you just skip everything else, and then just do 2 clicks of this ship like that. So 1, 2, then you just let yourself fall into these jump pads, and then you become a ball right here. It's not really indicated, but you just go up, down, and then hit the yellow orb like that. And then it's just a small auto, jump once as the mini cube, and then jump like that into the teleport portal. So like this. Then you can skip both of these yellow orbs. And then here's the next ship section. Go on the bottom of the saw blade to collect the second coin. And then it's just memorizing where you're going with teleport portals. This part isn't terribly hard. In order to do this part correctly, you want to just hit this teleport portal, then hit the one down on the bottom, and then just go like that. Don't let yourself get confused here. You can hold on the ceiling here, and then just tap the green orb. It's not a super light tap, but just hit the green orb and then don't hold, really. And then you can do the same thing with this other green orb right here. And then this is the final section, which is a very hard ship control section. It looks very easy in half speed, but trust me, as you can see, the hitboxes are consistently moving. So it's not really as easy as it seems. So practice this part a lot. If you're bad at ship, you won't really be able to do this part. So I urge you to practice this part. It's kind of a choke point. But yeah, this is all pretty simple ship control, so there's not much I can say about this ending. And then right here, if you want to collect the last coin, you just go up and then just allow yourself to go to the end. Anyways, that was Ion. All right, so in terms of enjoyment, I gave Ion a 5 out of 10. This level's gameplay isn't very spectacular per se, but it is just decent, I guess. There's not much for me to say. There is annoying stuff in the level, but it's not really too annoying because of how like simple it is. I did think some parts of the level were fun and some parts of the level were kind of bad, but other than that, it's just a pretty average experience. And then in terms of decoration, once more, 5 out of 10. It's just average. Honestly, this is like the most simple thing I can say about it. The pulse work is done pretty well, but the decoration is just average. There's not much to say about it. Anyways, with my luck rating of 4 out of 10 and my song rating of 6 out of 10, the total rating of this level came out to 5 out of 10. This is just the definition of an average extreme demon. It's not spectacular, but it's also not bad. Other than that, the only people I recommend this level to are people who are ship carried. But other than that, I wouldn't waste your time playing this level. Anyways, that's all I have to say about the level.
I beat Ion. I beat it with all coins. Let's go.
Let's go. 1 more point. Oh my god, I hate.
Wow.
What?
Yes.
What? What?
No way. The liquid lock. I hit the shot.
Same attempt I
Holy
beat
shit!
Ion. What?